Earthquakes are pretty dangerous. Volcanoes are even worse. And when two extremely dangerous things come together, the only result can be destruction. Hey there, and welcome to another exciting episode of Future Arc. Today we're diving into something incredible, Yellowstone National Park. It's one of those jaw-dropping places that makes you appreciate the beauty of our world. But what most people don't know is there's a secret hiding beneath all that beauty. It's like the Earth has a surprise waiting for us, and it's sending some serious vibes that experts are watching closely. You see, there are tremors shaking things up in Yellowstone, and we're here to figure out what's going on. Is it just a hiccup in the Earth's dance, or could it be a sign of something much bigger? We're about to uncover the truth behind these mysterious shivers, and it's a revelation that might change the way we look at our planet. So stick around, because we're going to explore the secrets of Yellowstone, the hidden world of seismic wonders, and we might just stumble upon something that could change the future. But first, let's talk about the marvel of nature that is Yellowstone. It's a massive national park stretching across 3 states, Wyoming, Montana, and Idaho, covering an area bigger than you can imagine, over 2.2 million acres. So what makes Yellowstone so special? Well, first off, it wasn't just the first national park in the US, but it's a world pioneer too. Yep, the first of its kind anywhere on the planet. Yellowstone was officially established by President Ulysses S. Grant way back in 1872, making it a historical gem. But it's not just about the history, it's about the jaw-dropping natural features that make Yellowstone a real treasure. You've got these amazing geysers, like Old Faithful, that shoot steaming hot water into the sky, leaving you in awe of nature's power. Then there are the incredible hot springs. The Grand Prismatic Spring, for example, is a pool so beautiful it looks straight out of a dream. The wildlife, grizzly bears, wolves, bison, and elk, just to name a few. These critters roam around freely, and if you're lucky, you might spot them chilling in their natural habitats, like a real-life National Geographic show right in front of your eyes. Now, let's talk about the big secret underneath all this beauty. Yellowstone isn't just a park, it's a sleeping giant, a volcanic caldera, one of the biggest and most active on Earth. Imagine that, a whole underground world of molten rock and geothermal energy. The park's part of this huge thing called the Yellowstone Volcano Observatory, and it's got geysers like Old Faithful, giving us a sneak peek into the volcanic action underneath. We're talking about a supervolcano, and its eruptions, when they happen, are on a whole different level. Thousands of times more powerful than your regular volcano. But hold on to your hats, because things are getting shaky in Yellowstone. We mean earthquakes, and lots of them. But we're not talking about your average little trembles. Nope, these are quakes that have experts on high alert. It's like Yellowstone's waking up from a deep slumber, and we're here to catch the first whispers. But Yellowstone and earthquakes go way back, and before we get into the new stuff, we need to understand some of the history behind it. Thousands of years ago, the Earth had a volcanic itch, and guess where it scratched? Yep, right here in Yellowstone. This led to 3 major volcanic eruptions, talking eruptions so massive that they make your regular volcano look like an 8th grader's science project. This first eruption happened a whopping 2.1 million years ago. It made a caldera, that's basically a volcanic crater, over 60 miles wide. And that's just the beginning. Fast forward 1.3 million years and bam, another colossal explosion. This one made what's called the Island Park caldera and left a mark called the Mesa Falls Tuff. Now let's talk about the grand finale, the most recent volcanic eruption around 640,000 years ago. This explosion was so huge it created the Lava Creek Tuff and the Yellowstone caldera too. That's the caldera we see today. This eruption tossed more than 240 cubic miles of rock, ash, and volcanic gases into the sky. Imagine a mountain of fiery chaos rocketing into the atmosphere. It's terrifying to even think about. But here's where it gets even wilder. These eruptions weren't just local parties, they had global RSVPs. The world felt the impact. Ash covered the skies like a volcanic blanket, causing a global cooldown. The climate got very wacky, affecting ecosystems all around the Earth. It's like the Earth sneezed and everyone caught a cold. So, as we've discussed, earthquakes are a pretty major part of the history of Yellowstone. It's the supervolcano with a history of eruptions that would put most bombs to shame. The frightening thing is, we're not done here. Recently, a series of mini earthquakes have been rumbling in the north part of Yellowstone Lake. This seismic activity doesn't just have scientists curious, they're on high alert. This whole thing started with a teeny tiny magnitude 0.7 quake, which now seems like it was a warm-up, because within just 12 hours, over 60 earthquakes hit the scene, ranging from 0.1 on the magnitude scale to a pretty decent 3.7. 2 of the 60 earthquakes went above 3.0. The University of Utah seismograph stations and the Yellowstone Volcano Observatory had their eyes glued to this, as anyone facing a potential lava-induced demise would. They're the ones keeping an eagle eye on this earth-shaking action, but earthquakes in Yellowstone aren't that uncommon. In fact, they account for about half of all seismic events in the Intermountain West. So then what's all the fuss about? Here's where it gets mind-blowing. Beneath Yellowstone's serene surface, there's a double trouble of magma chambers. The first chamber, discovered back in the 80s, sits about 10 kilometers below the surface, holding around 10,000 cubic kilometers of molten rock. But guess what? Deeper than that, between 20 and 50 kilometers below, lies the real heavyweight. The second chamber is a staggering 4.5 times bigger than the first one. How large does that make it? Well, these chambers could fill the Grand Canyon 14 times over. It's like a molten rock stash that keeps refilling the shallow chamber, providing energy for the park's geothermal features. But here's the twist. While this discovery doesn't directly mean an eruption's coming, it's the equivalent of having a potential reload button for the shallow chamber. It can get topped up again and again, and if it fills up, it could build a lot of pressure, which would lead to the volcano erupting. The troubling thing is that Yellowstone isn't just a regular volcano, it's a supervolcano, and if it ever decides to erupt, it would be a devastating, world-changing event. The immediate area would see destruction beyond our wildest nightmares. Lava flows would be seas of fire that would destroy everything in their way. Pyroclastic surges are gusts of hot and dangerous gases that would damage everything in their paths. And last but certainly not least, ashfall would cover everything in sight and block the sunlight for miles. The beautiful landscapes, the wildlife, all consumed by the fury of Mother Nature. And it's not just that. Think about the people, towns, communities, and millions of tourists that visit every year, caught in this destruction. It's a catastrophic domino effect. There's a model that says Yellowstone's super eruption could affect a staggering 3/4 of the United States, with 90% of people within 1,000 kilometers of the blast potentially facing a grim outcome. It's like nature playing the ultimate power move. Areas like Missouri and Texas might get over 10 centimeters of ash, while closer spots could be buried under meters of the stuff. The volcanic gases could mess up the planet's climate, leading to a volcanic winter, messing with weather patterns and agriculture across the entire globe. The damage and loss of life would be unthinkable. In short, an eruption would turn the area around Yellowstone into an apocalypse. With lava flows, ashfall, pyroclastic surges, the destruction wouldn't stop there either. Towns, communities, and even entire regions could be at risk. The Yellowstone Volcano Observatory, along with other experts, is on the case. They're keeping an eagle eye on this restless giant, monitoring every seismic hiccup and geological twitch. What's crazy is wildlife might just be our secret earthquake detectors. Animals like bison have a deep connection to this land, so when they start acting weird, it might be a clue, like nature's early warning system. So if you think Dr. Dolittle is Yellowstone's final hope, leave a like on the video and don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you next time.